Hey everyone, this is my next installment on castle projects. So today I'll talk to you about a little project we're working on the back side of the castle to replace a door hatch that went into the basement of our castle. So this is the back side of the castle. Didn't have a lot of attention over the years. It was totally overgrown. You can see I've culled out all of the stuff. It was covered in brambles. Brenselin, which is this like stinging plant. And as you can see, I've done a lot of work cleaning it up. And you can see the whole back side of this portion of the castle. But upon uncovering everything, what we found was there's a hole that goes into the basement. I've temporarily jury-rigged this to cover it up because it just had this old rotted tin roof that animals, snow, water, everything can come cascading in. This is the actual door that I found. It was kind of lying like this, a lot of debris and stuff piled on top of it. You can see it's pretty worn. This thing is all falling apart. When you try to pick it up, it's just literally falling apart. And that is the hole that I have to fix. What this was used for was primarily, I think, for wood or coal at one point, but now it's used primarily to put in the fuel oil that we get, that we run the heating for the radiator system off of. This might be a little hard to see, but that's the actual entry into our basement. That pipe and all this you see to the right here is the tank that holds all our fuel oil. It's about, I think, 25,000 liters at capacity. We do burn through a lot of it during the winter, so the problem, as you can tell, is with that old tin roof, water just came pouring in here. All sorts of critters could come in, so I want to try to close that up, something a little tighter and keep the water out. While we're here, I thought I'd give you a quick tour of the dungeon. So that's just the entry from the first floor. You come down these steep stairs. If you were to break to the right, that takes you into where the boiler system is, the tank, and you can see there the open hatch that we were just talking about. If you spin around, and if you were to break to the left, that takes you into this room, which we don't really use for much. I think there's some wine storage, but I think all this wine is sold. I really don't think I'd touch it. There are no valuable wines in here. I've already looked, but we'll have to figure out what we can do with this room. It's awfully dirty, cold, and dank, so for storage of something you want to keep cool, it works out really well. So here's the design I came up with to cover that opening that goes into our basement. The timbers that form the outer part of the frame were actually repurposed from wood that held our contents inside of the shipping container that came over from the US. The cross members were what I thought were some random pieces of wood left over from some event. Actually, there's an interesting story behind that. So those colorful cross pieces were cut from 3 longer pieces that were sitting in this corner in a kind of haphazard pattern. They've been there for decades. A lot of other stuff piled around them, so I really didn't think much of it until I was shown this picture, which shows those same 3 poles sitting in the corner. And of course, there's another version of them inside of a diorama. Inside of a diorama, part of a live exhibit. Sometimes the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, or the obscure live art exhibit. Here's my frame over the hole. It looks pretty darn good. I'll probably have to put some bricks and maybe some Quikrete to cover that hole there, but otherwise it's pretty tight, so I think that's going to work out well. And then my next plan is to actually cover this with this tin roofing I found. But you can imagine that'll sit on there, and that should provide a pretty good seal against the elements coming in. But I'll have to cut that down to size and figure out how to form it to the frame. But I think that's going to be my battle plan. So here you can see I've attached the first tile panel. It's pretty flush against the back wall. I'm going to let it run along so the water drains into the dirt as opposed to on the concrete and possibly back into the hole. And then I have this side flange I'm going to have to cut an angle on, but that'll cover the sides of it to make it a little more watertight from the sides. So here's my finished monstrosity. Fits really nicely. Still got some holes on the bottom. I think I'll just fill those with bricks or stone for any of the larger creatures you get through. You can't stop the mice. They're going to get it no matter what. But the only problem I have now is I made it so heavy that I need to put some handles on it. So it only gets open twice a year at most. So I'll let it lie for now until I can figure out what type of handles I want to put on this so you can lift it off a little easier. But it's not going anywhere. That's where I'm going to leave this project for now. I've got a myriad of other projects to work on. Hope you enjoyed this update. Meanwhile, I have to repair some castle windows.